I got my new thing imported. I got the Christian Dior. They wanna look at the foreign. They couldn't even afford it. Look what I did with the bag. Look what I did with the bag. I got the thing in the back, and I ain't taking no chat. I got my new thing imported. I got the Christian Dior. They wanna look at the foreign. They couldn't even afford.
Follow us on Instagram at Express Truth Show.
Unfiltered people, we're back up in the building. Express Truth Show, making Thursdays great again. And before we do anything else today, people, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment. It's algorithm business that we are dealing with. Patreon crew, big up yourselves every single time. Patreon, we're doing a lot over there, man. So Patreon crew, big up yourself. We're back up in the building, man. Before we do anything else, let me bring in my co-host, Stephen Brown. Stephen, what are you saying, man?
Yo, making Thursdays great again, never late again. It's the greatest show on earth. Changing the world one Thursday at a time. Your favorite podcast, favorite bloody podcast. And we're here, Mark. It's another Thursday, mate. What are you saying?
I'm in the building, Stephen. You know what, yeah? Just before we start the show, you know what? I had to spin the block on the Mr. McMahon documentary. So
Okay.
I've watched it twice now, because at first they were saying, yo, this documentary is coming out. It's about Vince McMahon. So people, if you don't know WWF back in them days, Vince McMahon. So I watched it because they were saying that it was going to be some big expose thing. But what it done for me, Stephen, it just brought back bare nostalgia, just bare memories, man, because literally there was a point, probably like year 3, right up to like year 9, year 10. All we was on was wrestling in them days, like pretending to be wrestlers. Man, we're doing finishing moves in school. I actually went to wrestling in Brum and sat front row, because one of my brethren's dads used to work at the NIA or the NEC, one of them things there. So it brought back a bag of memories, Stephen. Trust me. So I had to spin the block on that. Besides that, though, I've been good. And then I watched, I'm giving people recommendations right now. I watched Beauty in Black. It's a new Tyler Perry series around like a strip club / trafficking thing that's going on. Very good little series. Finished it today. I encourage anyone, if you haven't watched it, take it in. They're only one season in still, but decent little watch, man. But other than that, Stephen, I'm here, man. Taking it easy. What you saying?
No, there. I'm still reeling from yesterday, to be fair. Just the update we received as a nation. I know some people probably ain't got a clue what's going on. You know what it is? A lot of people complain, but then they don't pay attention to what's going on. Do you know what I mean? So like sometimes information is presented to you in life, but you choose not to receive it. And then when things come to pass, you act like, why did no one ever say anything? And yada yada. You know what I mean? Like people just don't know. People just don't know how the world works. People don't know how the country works, Mark. Funnily enough.
Real talk, that is real facts.
But then they're the most vocal ones, man.
That is real facts, which I definitely want to get into. So, okay, let's start the show, man. So there's been a few key updates in the UK, a few key updates in regards to wages and new things that they will be introducing. Now, we're not going to go over every single point, but let's definitely focus on a few of those points, Stephen. So can you highlight maybe 2 to 3 of the biggest announcements?
We're talking from the UK budget, yeah?
That is correct.
Minimum wage is supposed to go up by 6.7% for millions of workers. The NHS gets 22.6 billion for day-to-day spending plus 3.1 billion capital, with targets to cut waiting lists and deliver more appointments. Education gets 6.7 billion increase in capital funding for school building. 5 billion on housing, including an extra 500 million to build affordable homes, plus 5-year rent settlement for social housing providers. You want some of the tax?
Yeah, man, let's run a couple of the taxes as well. Yeah, man.
Employers' national insurance contributions up 1.2 percentage points, threshold lowered to 5k, income tax thresholds which drag more people into higher tax bands, frozen until 2028/29 rather than 2030 as speculated. VAT on private school fees rise in capital gains tax, inheritance tax threshold frozen, but include inherited pensions and non-dom status scrapped. Temporary 5p cut on fuel duty and freeze on inflammatory rises continue for another year. Big hike in air passenger duty for private jets. How much cats are flying private, though, I wonder?
I know, innit? I doubt it's too much. I mean, there might be a few, but it's nothing that
No, but now it'd be good to know them numbers, Mark. It'd be good to know those numbers.
There's definitely people that fly private because there's private terminals, but I doubt it's as busy as you'd like to think with the prices of fuel and all of that as well. I think what they do now, I don't want to come off topic, but I think what they do now, Stephen, a lot of people that fly private, let's say there's like 5 people that are going to New York. Individually, they'll like split the budget amongst all of them. So
Nah, man. Right, we at our private. If you fly private,
yeah, man, that's how they do it.
Split that, me not go nowhere.
That's how they run it, man. That's how they run it.
Me invite you and couple man them. Yo, we're going Vegas private thing. Every man needs to give me 650. No, sir.
So out of all those things that you just read out there, yeah,
I remember what I read, but go on.
the only thing I'd say that, I mean, everything within reason is definitely important.
Yeah.
But the number one thing that I think we can discuss there is the rise in wages. See what I'm saying? Now, we've spoke about this many a time before. I believe we spoke about it last time the wages went up.
Yep.
For me, Stephen, I just feel like...
Sorry to cut you, Kate. They said minimum wage is going to be £12 something an hour now.
Now, I mean, it definitely sounds good.
It sounds better, but it don't sound good, Cake. Not when you Google layer pack butter. I see layer pack butter for 7.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Blows and skirt
in line with the other things that have gone up in price. It's not good, of course. You see what I mean? Because everything else has gone up. So in line with everything else that has gone up, it's not good. But it definitely sounds better than it was before, because it is. But it's not, of course, good in comparison to the other things that have gone up in price. So that's the way I look at it. But the way I see it is like this, though, I'm at the stage now, and I think many other people should be at this stage where, do you even look to the government? Do you even look to the government and think that they even care? Let's keep it honest. Like, do you even look to the government and say, they're going to do this or they're going to do that to help the people? I don't think they do.
Personally, I never have. That's just me. Like, it doesn't really matter who's sitting on which side of which bench and and who's living at number 10. Like, I've never really looked at it like that. Because you have to be honest, when you look at the history of the country, when you look at the history of the majority of the so-called modern world, has the leadership and people's values, do they usually coincide? Not usually, Mark. Because I watched the whole budget still, and even one of the things they said, like, we're gonna put more money into who was it, man? Was it DWP? No,
that's the Department of Work and Pensions.
No, I know who they are, but I'm trying to think. Yeah. Well, it wasn't them. It would have been, I can't remember which faction of government they are, but they said they're going to put money into, might have been HRMC, I believe so.
HMRC?
Yeah, it might have been them still, because they're talking about, they want to find out what some people are doing, because some people made so much during COVID off the back of people suffering and yada, 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 and all of that. So they want to look into it. But my point being is, I'm trying to say, like, people, and we say all the time, people always make money. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world, what the climate is. People are happy, people are sad, people are hanging themselves from trees. Someone's profiting from it somewhere.
Facts.
And we have to be realistic. When you look at the government, they profit from everything. And when they're not profiting from everything, they stick their noses in. Because we saw it with the little stupid, like, if you're a man who sells a little, on Vinted or eBay or you do Deliveroo and all of that. They want to see your man wage statements and you rare. You know what I'm trying to say? So basically, it seemed like they were trying to squeeze us for every little thing. I don't know if this current government, is going to reverse their stance on that, but it remains to be seen. But one thing I was waiting on, which I didn't hear, and maybe I missed it for anyone else who might have watched, they can put it in the comments. I didn't hear anything about like, oh, yeah, we're going to get the energy bills down and blah, blah, blah. All I heard was something along the lines of the energy providers are doing etc., etc. They're going to get more money to do stuff, so we'll create more jobs and all of that. That's all well and good because people need to work, those who want to work and are able to work. But I was thinking, people can't heat their homes and that. Like, people need to hear something about that, man.
Exactly, Stephen. When you first sent me that breakdown, yeah, I've sent that around still. I know you didn't put it together, but that breakdown that I sent around, whoever got it from me.
It was a proper thing still, apparently. That was one of the MPs tweeted that out.
Oh, okay. So when I was looking at that was one of the main things that I was looking for, which was like energy and things of that nature. But that I don't think they're gonna reverse that, I think that's just the new way that you'll be charged for energy. Because remember, this is not something that's happened from yesterday. We're going on 3 years now with these 2.5 years with these increased energy bills. And I just don't think that they're in a rush to lower them. Because, Stephen, you're talking about they're charging you like 4 times more than you were paying before COVID. And you got to think, if they're able to do that and no one's questioning it, yeah, no one's really questioning it. Because if you think about it, yeah, some of the bills that you hear about, yeah, are absolutely crazy. You see what I mean?
I heard about a man must have got liquid like 13K or something from Eon.
13K. That must have been where he just weren't sending in his estimated bill. That's what that sounds like. Because if you gotta send in your estimated bill, yeah, ASAP. I mean, not your estimated bill. Let's say you're paying like $150 a month, yeah, standing order. That would just be an estimated cost. So they will still be charging you. So you have to send your meter reading in. If man don't send in their meter reading and let it build up, it's not like back in the day where it can be like, you owe 2 bills or you owe a little 250 or a little change like that. Now it's like 3 grand, 4 grand, 5 grand. You know what I mean? Because that's how fast the bill accumulates. But they don't seem to be wanting to address that, man. Anyway, like them are the basic things like food, shelter, heating, gas, electric, things like that, yeah, are basic things, water, basic things. So if they can bring these things up to where you're paying 2 times as much, 3 times as much, the water bills now, they've gone up significantly. So when you're paying that kind of money on them kind of everyday bills, yeah, that's how they get you. Because think about it, yeah, before COVID, you might have somebody who they work full time, they got a decent job, they're saving a bit each month. What they've done now is they've made it where, let's say you're a man who's got 8 bills. After you pay all your bills, you got £800 spare. What they're saying now is, I'm coming for £600 out of that £800. That's how they're doing it.
More like 750, mate.
I mean, I'm being fair, but that's how they're doing it. Like,
we're being fair, but the world's unfair right now.
Yeah, facts. It's like, let's just say it as it is. For me, it's almost like they're trying to say, you know what? Eradicate the middle class. See what I mean? Eradicate that. There's no in between.
Mark, don't doubt yourself. It's not they are. That's what's happening.
You think it's slowly happening, yeah?
What? Because I'm just trying to put my little two bits of grey matter together. What other reasoning could you deduce from this situation? Suddenly you're killing everyone with bills, and then to the point where, and you sent it to me, but I've seen it anyway, people at all levels are crying. You might look, so back in the day, you look at a man, man's on 40 plus 60 plus 100. Now, Mark, I'm seeing everyone cry, Mark. Everyone's crying. And like some of these people are quote unquote deemed, depends on what you deem successful, but you might deem them successful. Like, let's say you're on 100k plus, so that is successful work wise because you're part of the 1%. They're crying, G. And sometimes these are people who are in relationships, so both parties are earning and there's two wages coming. Everyone's crying. Like, there's no way. So what I'm trying to say is, because back in the day, you might have cried over bills and your cost of living back then, and people will be like, oh, you need to just find something new and earn more. Now it doesn't make no sense, because even with this whole 6.7 slap in the face, so you can work, you work, Mark, so break it down, Cake. What did I say to you? The lower pack was £7, £6 out £7, yeah? If you're on minimum now, when it goes up, £12 something, so half your wage for an hour, so 30 minutes work, or maybe more, or maybe a little under, a little over, you can buy a butter. And then I saw a loaf of bread, brioche bread. I know you're not necessarily going to buy brioche bread, but that was almost £4. So you're working. So let's say you're someone who's like, nah, I need my little luxury niceties when I'm eating and that, Mark, yeah? Your brekkie, it could be toast, and it could toast with little butter, Mark. Worse if you're splurging on top, but you want a peanut butter or a jam or a Nutella or something,
You have to leg all them things, man.
You can't. Yeah, but bossy, if you want them money, you can't let go them thing there. Mark, that's an all hours wage, mate, for breakfast.
Yeah, they've got mental still. I ain't gonna lie, they've got mental. They've got mental with. And
then let's not forget tax exists. Yeah. So even with this increase, how much more are you actually seeing? Someone will have to crunch the numbers.
You know, Stephen, you see when they're bringing up the wages and that, yeah? They're not doing no favors. They're making that back off the top, Because remember, you're paying it elsewhere. So you're under the illusion, that, they've upped your money or whatever, but you're paying it back elsewhere. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're paying it one way or another. And like you said, I did think that, Stephen, I did think to myself, what's the purpose of all this, what they're doing? Because at first, I was solely of the belief that they're trying to inflict depression. Because if you notice, if you go back maybe 15 years, depression was still a word that was used heavily, but you never really knew people that were saying they're depressed. Like, I'm not saying you wouldn't see a man and say, that brother there's depressed. But now it's like people are proud, like, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. And then remember, they go doctors, they can get pills and all of that. Then people start getting addicted to the pills that they're getting from the doctor. So I thought they were pushing that. But now when I really look at it and I sit down and really put pen to paper and look at how they're doing things, it makes sense that they're trying to eradicate the middle class. That's what they're trying to do, because even like I was talking to you earlier today, Stephen, about that situation, what we were talking about, and that's a person who has done everything that they were supposed to do, plus more, and they've made it almost where like it's a roadblock for the brother, no matter which way he turns. You see what I'm saying? So in my head, I'm like, it definitely is starting to look like eradicate the middle class. Because remember, although this is a very sensible conversation after that new budget thing's been released to have, but remember, there's other conversations going on elsewhere. Like you said, there's people that are benefiting from all of this. There's people that are getting richer. There's one set of people that can't lose, you know what I mean, because they're in position. And then there's another set of people that they're making it harder for that set of people, because the man them that are at the top, there's certain things that ain't hitting them the way it's hitting the other set of people. I'm not going to say the bottom, because you've got a whole middle class, but there's definitely some sort of plan to eradicate the middle class, because when they're talking about affordable housing, Stephen, what does that even mean in today's world? Because it doesn't matter the price of the house, It's about the interest rate, It's about how much you're paying back on the loan.
That, Mark, and also, it's that, you know what? It never used to be. Silly. Let me retract that. The interest, of course, the interest rates always mattered, but it matters even more than now, because remember, housing prices and wages, they haven't gone up together.
Exactly.
Because back in the day, it might be 2 or 3 times your wage, Now I think, ain't it 7 or something, or in some cases 10 times it's ridiculous.
Haven't you? There's an actual factual figure, what shows back in the 70s, like they were almost neck and neck. Now it's like chalk and cheese. Now I'm saying that's by design, because the facts are they don't want no ownership, and they don't want no one to have no ownership. And then when you really check it, yeah, Stephen, when you really check what's going on now,
Yeah.
they're talking about a universal income. If you listen to man like Elon Musk and people like that, and they're talking about these new robots that are going to be coming out and doing all of this, I know people don't believe in them things, but them things are coming. Them things are coming because
Skynet is coming.
all of that stuff's coming. All of that stuff is coming where robots are going to do what people don't want to do. And they're going to do what people want to do too. Like, just look at it. You can see it happening. If you ever want to see the direction in which the world is going, just look at China. Just look at how China are doing their thing. Building sites, yeah, where the cement is being delivered in a matter of minutes around the building site. A job that used to take 30 minutes now takes a few minutes.
And if you see them doing it, Mark, then you know it's like even scarier, especially if you're keeping it to construction. Because they were always different with it. That's why they were screwing at us over the HS2. Because they're like, rude boy, you know how long we would have finished this?
Fam, they would have banged that out in probably 3 to 6 months. Then remember, if you think about it, just look at how everything's gone techie. Even all the new cars now, if them new cars now, they're starting slowly to do things for you, lane assist, where, you're driving a certain level, the car's pulling you back now. That's artificial intelligence, So eventually they're going to get it right. Remember, people can't even string a sentence together nowadays without using artificial intelligence. So you got to think to yourself, they haven't even scratched the surface. It is coming. It's on its way. And I believe that all of this stuff is just the start of that, of one basic universal income. Now, it might take them 50 years, to roll it out. But we are definitely on our way, because there's no way that they're standing by and watching the residents of this country get robbed the way they're getting robbed. And it's mad, because you sent me a site today, beautiful site, man. I have to put that in my bookmarks, about comparison of different countries, because you sent me certain countries, which will remain nameless. But I just had a little look around and checked other countries. Stephen, you know that some things we're paying up to like 100% more,
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It's absolutely crazy. So that's why you're seeing now. Think about the headlines you're seeing now. Lowest birth rates in the UK since the 1930s.
I'm surprised.
That's when war was going in. That was when war was going. Remember, they had World War One around. I think it's around 1933 or 34. Yeah, let's get it right. But if you check it, that was war, Stephen, where bombs are dropping and all of that, and people were still having children.
It might have been 92, Mark. It might have been World War II, because World War One was July 28th, 1914 to the 11th of November, 1918.
I know it finished 1940s, World War II. So it might have kicked off around.
Well, I'll check now.
Yeah, check it before we put any numbers. Remember, I'm not no historian like that.
It started the 1st of September 1939 and ended the 2nd of September
44.
1945.
Okay, got it wrong one, yeah. But okay, think about that. So around the time that war's going on, more children, people, the birth rate's higher. So you got to think people now are just saying, you know what? Why would I force myself into a difficult position? You know what I mean? That's what I'm taking from it. A lot of people are saying, I don't want to be in a difficult position, so they're just not having children. Do you know what I mean? That's just the way I see it. Then there was another thing I seen the thing about children, and then they said that the most people now are leaving the UK. Like, the same people are just getting up and leaving. But I'm like, where were they going though? Where were they actually going?
I know some places, but we're not gonna talk.
Now, we ain't gonna. But I'm saying, even when you really check it, Stephen, yeah, even if you look at those regions that the cost of living's really low, it depends if you've got a means to make money there.
Yeah,
'cause
I was just
yeah,
you see, man, think alike. Yeah, because all right, I'll give one. We'll drop one, Jewel. Yeah, let me just crack the treasure chest. You have to remember, because people are gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go live in Timbuktu. You know, it only costs 1p for your whole shopping and all of that. That's great, but are you just gonna go over there, hopefully find somewhere to reside, get citizenship, and just burn out your savings?
exactly.
Because I know people want to run to other countries. Oh, the tax rate's lower. You don't pay tax and all of that, which can be great, but you have to weigh up the pros and cons. You can move somewhere where you don't pay tax, but the cost of living might be higher.
Yeah, like that's one thing that I sometimes I get puzzled with the UAE because people be like,
I get why it's pushed, but we have these conversations all the time. I don't know why it's pushed so heavy sometimes. I can understand if you already have money and you're gonna go over there and set up business. But if you're someone who's like, oh, I'm gonna move over there and just work, like
it's gonna be rough.
It's gonna be rough for you.
It's gonna be rough. Matter of fact, I say it as it is. If you're just going there to work a shift job or whatever, you're gonna work way harder than you'd work in the UK. I'm telling you right now. Of course, you're gonna have the good weather, but remember, you're not acclimatized to that. If you're a man who sit down in England for 20 years, 30 years, you're not acclimatized to that level of heat. And remember, them man over there, let's just keep it 1,000, yeah? They put their own first. And this is not me saying this. I personally know people that have moved there.
Yeah,
and you know what I mean? A man have said, you're like, yo, if as long as you're not Emirati or rich, filthy rich, then you're a second-class citizen. You see what I mean? So a lot of men that are running there, like, that's not it either. Like, yeah, there's no tax. Yeah, it looks beautiful. But if you ain't making money there, like, life's going to be hard. You know what I mean? Like, anywhere else in the world. But there's no, like, you're getting free money or none of that. None of that runs in them places. No. So it's easy to say to bounce, but there's still a lot that is right here as well at the same time. You know what I mean? But it is the best time, though. Let's say I was 21 right now, yeah? No children, no nothing, no commitments to anything, just 21, just free, yeah? Probably now's the time to just, boom, yo, I'm gone, you know? Even if it's for a year or, you know, like back in the day, like most of the brethrens, like my white boy brethrens from school and that, yeah? That I met, like, older and all them kind of white boys that I knew. A lot of them, man, just got up and went Australia, you know. Literally just got up, Stephen, yeah?
Why, did they jump in that mine thing or they just went over there?
They just got up, like, yo, I'm going to travel for, like, 6 months. And then this is how it always happens. Like, the last one that I was chatting to, I think he went to Australia and done some traveling for maybe 6 months. He met a girl and then fell in love and just stayed there. You know them ones. So I think now's the time now for, like, if you're like a youngster or you got no commitment, even if you've got commitment, like children, whatever, now's the time. Like, the world's a big place. Like, if you've got a British passport as well, yeah, then you've most definitely got an advantage on your side. Let's keep this thing real, Stephen. If you got a British passport, then now's the time to say, you know what? I'm going to try to live here for 3 months or whatever.
You want to hear what I'm going to say, yeah?
Yeah, man.
You know what you said? Everything you just said is factual, but it's factual and it's pointless. You want to know why it's pointless?
Break it down.
Because most people are not comfortable being uncomfortable.
Facts.
So you sit in your job. Oh, I hate this job. Yeah, I hate my life. Cost of living. Oh, yeah. But a man would rather sit in his own misery and sometimes his own squalor and know, okay, I'm getting 5 bills for the month and all my bills and living and da-da-da-da-da is 350, 400. All right, I got to stretch this 150, this bills till my next payday. And you'll just keep doing this cycle, you know, rinse and repeat for years and years and years and years and years. Like, people are just afraid of the unknown. And a lot of the time, like, that word fear, that holds people back from, like, being their true, authentic, successful selves, you know. Because sometimes, I'm not saying jump out of a plane without a parachute, you know, but sometimes you can just dip your toe into new waters, man, and you might like what you find.
Most
But
definitely, the world's big.
People aren't even prepared to do that. Like how much people like actively even like, you know, how much people I know haven't even left the UK.
That was going to be my next point. It depends on how comfortable you are with travel as well. If you're someone who's just like tied to like your city or your area and you don't see importance in travel, then yeah, it's going to get rough. Because if you don't know any other region that you've studied, or even if it's just a thing where you go back to your the home of your ancestors or the home of your relatives or whatever the case may be, a lot of men don't even have that anymore. You see what I'm saying? Like now, so many people are just in an open air prison. They don't want to travel. They don't want to look for a better opportunity elsewhere. Like now's the time, innit? Like when we was younger, I'm not saying, and even if you're a big old 40-year-old, 50-year-old man, 55, now's the time that you can say like, yo, even 2 months, 8 weeks, 3 months, just to get a feel of a different region, because now's that time, and now's the time that you are actually free to be able to do that if you're not tied down to nothing. And even if you are tied down to something, now's the time to try your hand. But either way, man, we could be here. We could literally take over the whole show talking about this. A video went viral earlier in the week of a Labour MP attacking a man. Do you know what I mean? So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is Tommy Robinson was sentenced to 18 months for sharing fake news about a Syrian immigrant. So you're getting this argument come up again now, Stephen, about a two-tier police system. Because in one hand, you've got this MP who's gone viral for attacking a member of his, not only a member of the public, but one of his constituents. Yeah, which we'll get back to that in a second. Then you got Tommy Robinson, who's been sentenced to 18 months in prison for showing a fake news video of a Syrian immigrant. I want to just start off like this. When you look at these situations and these prison sentences, I always ask myself, like, how are these things worked out? Because I've heard people talk about a two-tier system, a two-tier police system, but I was always on the side of, I need to see evidence of this. So you can't really ignore this, because when you really think about it, yeah, people like Hugh Edwards have been given suspended sentences for crimes that have actually put children in danger. And they haven't even been given so much as a day, a week, whatever. Now, some people will say, oh, he ain't got no criminal record. It doesn't matter. That's like committing murder. Like, once you do it, it can't be ignored. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't in self-defense, it can't. And even if it was in self-defense, it can't be ignored in regards to the punishment. So when you think about it, that's how it's looking. But what I will say, though, Stephen, is this. Better education is needed in the UK for the general public on politics, because I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. So many people are looking for blame. They want to place blame for everything on these people that we see in the public eye. Mm-hmm. So whether it be the Prime Minister, whether it be an MP, whether it be, you can give me a few other people as well. These people are blamed for everything that is wrong with this country. So as an MP or as a person who's in the public eye, you do almost have to have a skin that is almost impenetrable. You got to have a thick skin, Stephen, because if you check it, just go on Twitter. There's men that just blame these politicians for everything. Like, they'll be like, yo, these man brought a loaf of bread and I'm like, yo.
The issue is with a lot of the nation. They don't even know the MP's roles, because a lot of the things they complain about are local issues, aka council issues. But I've noticed within a lot of constituencies or areas, as they call them, when there's an issue, the council don't exist. It's all the MPs. Because you know what MP's job? You know for those that don't know, MPs don't have any special powers over anyone. So they're not in charge of the council. They're not in charge of the police. They're not in charge of the NHS. They're not in charge of the Home Office. I know you have the head of even the one who's in charge of the Home Office. They can't do anything. So like they couldn't.
Home Secretary.
Yeah, the Home Secretary. Oh, that always slips out of my mind, you know.
That's even the Home Secretary. That's who runs the Home Office still.
Yeah, I know. The Home Sec, even the Home Sec couldn't like, oh, I'm going to push through this person's pay because they'd get in trouble. Like, they have no magic beneficial power. They're literally legislators. Because when you see them
that's not taught. That's not taught to most people. Most people think that they're involved.
It's not even most people. It's not taught to anyone because it's not taught in school. It's not taught to anyone. Unless you go on to study politics or you're into politics or you teach yourself. It's not taught. All right, because as an MP, you'll attend sessions in Parliament to vote on new laws and policies, raise constituents' concerns with ministers, debate issues, and ask questions. That's it. So even when you're like, oh, no, but I'm a part of the constituency, you know, blood. True. Okay, what's your issue? There's leaves coming across the path.
That's council.
Local councillor or get a fucking broom.
Yeah, that's council. But this is what I'm saying. People can't differentiate between local council and like MP or whatever the case may be. So you got to think with that Labour MP, whoever that guy is, because they say that the guy stalked him, you know. The guy was following him. And apparently he called the police, which is why you're not seeing too much coverage of this, because he called the police. But what I'm saying is I can see how that can unfold, because when you've looked at the that situation, people are just like, yo, the MP, yo, he should be fired, A, B, or C. And I'm not going to give an opinion on that because he should have a thick skin, most definitely. But I can definitely see how it would unfold, because let's say you're the MP of Birmingham City Centre, yeah, and the residents of Birmingham City Centre blame you for whatever hardship they are experiencing, and then they see you out having a good time, enjoying yourself. Somebody may get vocal. Now the MP should definitely he should have a cool enough head that he can listen to insults, but we don't know exactly what happened if the man put his hand on him.
I'm not going to say too much on it, because like I always say with these, show me what happened leading up to the situation, because we don't know if the geezer
put hands on him,
man, hit him, spit on it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
If it was literally just words, then the MP should know better, man. Not even just the MP. I know people only have certain people. I know everyone has their own threshold and their own breaking point. But even as a person, it's just words, man. Words can't actually hurt you. What them saying at school, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
That should be the case.
You should have enough emotional maturity for someone's words to not trick you out of your position.
Yeah, facts.
No, because you still got 30-year-old, 40-year-old man. Yo, if a man ever says my mum, you know, are you 19?
Yeah, it's daft.
Are you 16?
It's daft.
If he says, suck your man, what's going to happen? Is your mum going to drop down dead? You want me if you crash out and end up in a 4x4, 6x6 blood class cell with nothing but Jacob's crackers and Vaseline for company? Yeah, you idiot.
Yeah, it don't make sense. The risk is most definitely not worth the reward.
Okay, there's no reward. I was going to cut you off. What's the reward?
The reward of that sensation of feeling good, of striking someone. Because
that's going to last for 2 seconds.
Exactly.
The other 3 seconds, you're going to be in cuffs.
Exactly. So that's my whole point with the MP, is a situation where if you know you can't hold them things, you shouldn't be in them public spaces.
True. But
because you know what it's like? You're the person, you know, like when they say like, you're not supposed to like your boss, you know. You're not supposed to like your boss. Like, that's just facts. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. Like, a person who's in a position of authority, you're not supposed to like that person. So what's happening is now, A lot of people ain't understanding that. Like the people that are in those positions, yeah, have to relay uncomfortable messages. They do. They got to relay uncomfortable messages because when you come to them thinking that you're going to get A, B, or C and it's going to happen overnight and that's the answer to all your questions. No, that's not how it goes. And because people ain't up on the game of how it works, they will throw verbal abuse at these people. We don't know exactly what's happened, but they will put physical abuse, throw physical abuse at these people if they can. We only have to go back a few years ago to see many different incidents of people being attacked.
Yeah, remember one MP got killed, innit?
There you go. Now with
I agree with you with the vocal thing. Physically though, no, it don't matter what job you're in, blood. No one deserves to have hands put on them.
Nobody at all.
So if a man retaliates to that, I can't say, "Oh, you're wrong."
No, facts. I mean, it's hard because it's hard for me to say that because I feel like when you're in that position, you almost got to. You almost have to. You almost have to.
You know, fuck all that. Put hands on me and see what happens.
No facts, but that's why you're not gonna. You wouldn't be good in that position for that reason. No, but once you put yourself in that position,
I hear what you're saying. No, I hear what you're saying, but I disagree, man. Because even if I'm gonna be in that position and people might hate me, you don't have the right to touch anyone. Because if you, for argument's sake, this is why I always say leave people alone because you never know what someone's reaction is gonna be. You shove a geezer. You don't push him over, Mark. You just shove him, on the street. Me, you, an MP, another member of the public. He turn around and hits you with the right hand from God, and you go to sleep. Who's in the wrong?
The man who started it.
Why would you run up and you know what I'm trying to say?
Facts. But yeah,
right,
but he's supposed to know better. That's all I'm saying. In the position he's in, because now he's suspended, he's supposed to know better. But on the other hand, though, Tommy Robinson, I get it with him, he's became a problem, to the system, Robinson. He's became a problem because no matter what anyone personally has to say about Tommy Robinson, he has a huge following. He's got a very large following who stand by him. People might say, how you know that? Because he raised 100 grand in one day after this arrest. That means that he's got people that are willing to put their hand in their pocket. They're willing to fund him. And I'm saying this is a man who's vocalizing certain things that others ain't vocalizing. You know what I mean? So people are standing behind him. They're believing in what he's got to say. They're standing up for him. They caught all this two-tier police system. That's what they're saying. Like, yo, well, you've put my man away for 18 months, but this other guy, nothing's happened to him. I definitely think with Robinson, somehow they're trying to kill the influence that he does have. No matter what anyone's personal opinion is, that we're not discussing that right now. We're discussing the fact that he's became very influential to amongst his little crowd of supporters. That's a problem, man. That's 1,000% a problem because remember, he was one of the people who helped push that narrative the other day when that civil war almost kicked off. Now you got to understand, it never happened that time. It didn't happen. But what's to say that another time it may not happen? Like, what's to say? Like, he's able to reach that crowd. People are saying that he's getting funded by all kind of different people.
It probably is, man. It probably is.
Crazy.
Probably is. We've been saying it. I know we haven't really spoken on that side of it on air like that. But it probably is, man. It probably is. That's why you always see certain people in positions, man, because people like really support them. Like they'll give them their last, you know what I mean? I know we might have some high-end backers as well. But even a regular man in the pub, like, my man's talking for us. He's talking for us. Real ones, us common folk. Yeah, we're taking back our country. You know what? All them grumbles, man.
Yeah.
Them man put their hand in there. Them man really go 10 toes deep, man.
Definitely, man. It's definitely something that you can't ignore. You see what I mean? You definitely can't ignore it, and it's grown to that level of power. And I think the more they I don't want to say target because he's done some things that he definitely needs to answer for. But the more they put him on headlines and all of that, they're making him look like a hero,
Martyr.
Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to say martyr
I
because
won't say martyr yet,
a martyr dies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they're making him look like he's a voice.
He's a folk hero.
There you go. That's what, and I think the more they lock him up and put him on the front of the paper and all that, he's looked upon as a hero to certain folks.
An amazing force for good, for civilization, and for raising people's standards of living. So why should we have to pay for doing that? Surely we should be paid.
I think that's a very bold question to ask a strong black woman on your channel, Jacob. And I'll actually pose a question to you. Would you say that about Jews? So I'll just give the context. First and foremost, one could easily argue that the Jewish community, the Israeli Jews, benefited from the Holocaust. And Hitler.
You could. I think
allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Let me bring
I like this lady still.
Let me bring it home. They benefited from Holocaust and Hitler due to the fact that they were given the state of Israel. Their life expectancy improved, and last but not least, their GDP improved. Israel's GDP improved as a result of Germany giving reparations in 1952. So would you say on national TV about the Jews that they should be happy and should be thanking Hitler and the Holocaust, Amy and David, for what they have gone through because they have benefited in terms of money? I would argue that Amy and David, Jacob wouldn't say this about Jews, but he's saying it about black people. So let me know what you're saying here, Jacob.
All right. I'm just going to say it like this, First of all, big up that lady, yeah? Handled yourself very well. That was such a cheeky and disrespectful question. Now.
But Mark, before we even go over it, you say you can answer yourself without getting loud and, you know what I mean? That's how you shut down someone with grace and facts,
Yeah, man, when you're on TV, you got to know how to carry yourself, which that lady done beautifully. Now, the way I look at it is like this, like there's a lot of conversation around reparations right now, enough conversation.
For those that don't know, sorry, Mark.
Break it down.
It's Caribbean reparations.
Caribbean reparations, most definitely. That's the reparations. That's what we're dealing with.
Or trying to.
Now, when I go back to Jamaica, and we take a look around at the infrastructure and everything like that. I mean, what would you say? This guy's talking about, we fixed up these economies and all of that. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You actually left these places worse than they would have been. And now you might as well say that it's like we're looking to be colonized by another part of the world now, who are now coming in and doing little.
Them Jackie Chan, man.
Them brothers there, man.
Them them Hong Kong. Them and them.
Like, I'm just telling you how it is, isn't it? Oh. Like, now we're looking at that. But let's keep this thing 1,000. They didn't do nothing for these Caribbean countries. So yes, reparations are needed immediately. And like people say, I seen shout out to Diane Abbott. I seen Diane Abbott on a panel saying it as it is. She even switched into patware and all of that. So let me tell you this, When I went to Parliament when my mum was getting sworn in, the brother was like, one of the guys there at the time, she's getting sworn in. He's like, yo, I want to show you something. Like, let me show you something cool. So I'm like, yeah, man. Let me take a look. So my man's backed out this like robe thing, like this mad like robe kind of thing, and he said it's from the 1800s.
Okay.
Like it was like some mad medieval cloth thing. It was still in good nick still, but it was one of them, and it even had like the Mozart hat. You know that funny hat, Stephen, like a boat hat, like a paper boat. It had the hat. Now I say that to say this: these men are constantly talking about the past. They tell us to forget about the past, but they are constantly speaking about the past. Every time the football comes up, you hear about 1966. How do we know? Right now, I can tell you about the Battle of Hastings, or whatever that battle was. We learned it in school.
Hastings 1066.
I know there's an insurance company called that as well. But 1066, like, it's all about history. Anytime them man have done something that, like, they've been victorious in a war or that can make them look mighty, they promote it.
You never forget.
So they definitely live in the past. So this
We just
conversation,
need to forget our past.
exactly. This conversation is very simple, very easy, and very rational. Reparations need to be paid immediately. Now, how that would go about, that's a different conversation. That's not a conversation that I would be at the table for, like how it would work, because that's another question. But most definitely, in some, matter of fact, no, cash. But then again, Stephen, you've broke it down before. They can change what that cash means.
Yeah, overnight, man.
So
Look at it,
what
just
would
look
you
at the
say? What
interest
would you
rate.
say? Break it down. How can we? Because we need it.
I don't
We
want to
definitely need it.
Jaws, you know. I swear.
We need it, Stephen. We need our
All right,
reparations, man.
Let me just try to think quickly. So we're saying in 2024, what form of reparations would we need?
Yes, that's where I'm at with it.
A percentage. I'm not going to put no numbers out. A percentage would have to be cash or a cash equivalent. So even if it's you know what, if it was me personally, I'd want a mineral mark. I'd want some of God's money in it. If you know what that is, you know what it is. I'm not going to say it. I'd want some of that stuff personally.
From where though?
Say again, sorry.
You mean they give up minerals?
Yeah.
Okay.
So rather than give us dead, well, I was going to say paper, plastic money made from recycled Walker's packets or whatever the hell it's made from now. You give us some of the real thing, you know what I'm saying? I want some God's money. That's what I want. That's what we want.
God's currency.
Yeah, that's what you want. Definitely we need some land, which is free from tax, inheritance tax, any tax you can think of. Land and said rights to build whatever we want on said land. And we should be given a portion of housing probably spread out throughout the country, man. That's what I feel like. Obviously more, but that's just off the top of my head.
And it can be done, you know. No, but it should be done. I don't see that they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. But the facts are, yeah, our reparations are needed. We're putting too much work. Our ancestors put in too much work, man. They're putting too much work, Stephen.
Can you even call it? We need to come up with a new word because it's not even work, man. Can you get paid if you work? I don't know.
True. No, there was we know what it was, but they definitely need that. Needs to come back. We need that. That has to happen. It has to happen. There's not too much debate we can have about this. Reparations need to happen immediately. I don't even know why this is a conversation. I don't know why this is a conversation. It has to happen. And when man's talking about, oh, we came in and done, you never done nothing, man. You didn't fix up nothing. Things are very, very delayed in those countries. Now, if you're going to ask the question, if that didn't happen, would those countries be further ahead? That's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation entirely.
We can only speak on the facts.
What benefit have you had? Jamaica's still trying to hop along and find its true identity. And when I say that, before people try to come for man, I don't mean cultural identity. I mean identity on the world stage. I mean, and before you say Usain Bolt, me I talk about more than bumbuck like run up and down athletics and music and food. I'm talking about why we not trading. How come we don't hear man about, oh, Jamaica's launched this, let's get some shares of it, and we're not boasting about GDP and you know what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about our culture, which everyone. That's why I get so pissed off, Mark, because the country's been raped how many times over? Oh yeah, because that's why I'm not like you fussy hoes, blood. When some twat from down the road, I try wine to pat one, can't catch a fucking beat. Oh, they're invited to the cookout. I'm not part of that crew, man.
Yeah, man. Or if a man's just a bit different from us, but speaking in our accent,
I'm not here for
we push him to the forefront.
You'll be the same twat who back in the day was applauding the African girl for a horrible accent on Bad Girls. You're part of that crew?
Yeah, facts. And then you push him, man, to the forefront to promote all of the products from said region, man.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Please, get the fuck out of here, man.
And you got some next geezer, blood. Some, you know, let me even start.
We don't even need to, man. We don't even need to.
Let me just.
You already know what it is, man.
It's only Thursday.
It's Thursday. We're making it great again. But all right, we don't even have nothing more to say. People, you know what time it is, man. It's the Express Truth Show.
Fun,
Making Thursdays great again. It's unfiltered. So hit that like button. hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. Patreon crew, you already know what time it is. If you're not a Patreon, head over there right now. We out of here, man. Stephen, what you saying?
Unapologetic, unbiased, and always unfiltered, man. Gang, gang. Tell your girl I'll be around on the weekend. We're gone, man.
We're gone, people. Now, 15 years ago in Birmingham, people, was a very, very different time to the Birmingham that we know today. Things got rough, people. Now, we were off the back of a lot of factories in the West Midlands closing. Now, these factories, people, were factories that a man's dad could go and work in. A man would finish school and go and work in there. A lot of people spent their entire career in this factory. So when this factory shut, it created a knock-on effect in some of the local Birmingham communities. A lot of people were out of jobs and a lot of people were desperate for money. Now, there was already a crime wave happening at the time. Street robbery was at an all-time high. Car theft was at an all-time high. B&E, which is the breaking and entering game, was at an all-time high. Even the West Midlands police, they couldn't control the city. Now, people used to rely on factory work. A lot of people were struggling to keep the lights on. That's how bad things got around this time. Now, there was one day that there was a conference. Now, this conference had came to Brum, and they had put flyers all over the city, and they were advertising a conference. Now, this conference aimed to teach you how to buy a property in just 4 hours. So it was teaching people in 4 hours how to buy and flip a property. Now, they were doing a special, and this special was £100. All you had to pay is £100 to go into this seminar and listen to this so-called property expert sell his course to you and allegedly teach you how to buy and flip a property.